In Hollywood's constellation of leading ladies, some stars shine brightest when they follow their own orbit. Marisa Tomei represents a fascinating paradox in entertainment, an actress who embodies traditional femininity while rejecting conventional feminine expectations. Her luminous screen presence has captivated viewers for decades, yet it's her off-screen decisions that spark the most intriguing conversations. While tabloids chronicle celebrity weddings and baby announcements, Tomei has quietly blazed a different trail. Her romantic history includes notable relationships with industry heavyweights like Robert Downey Jr. and Logan Marshall Green, yet she's never walked down any aisle. This isn't a story of missed opportunities or timing gone wrong. It's the deliberate architecture of a life built on personal conviction. What makes Tomei's journey particularly compelling is her unwavering consistency. In a 2009 interview, she articulated her perspective with refreshing directness. "I'm not that big a fan of marriage as an institution, and I don't know why women need to have children to be seen as complete human beings." These weren't words spoken in the heat of a breakup or during career turbulence. They represent a philosophy that has guided her choices from the beginning. Picture a sculptor who refuses to let anyone else hold the chisel. That's essentially how Marisa Tomei has approached her life, maintaining complete creative control over her personal narrative.
My parents really loved the theater, and I grew up here in Brooklyn, and my parents would always take us to the theater here, and I think seeing how happy it made them, I think probably I wanted to make them that happy.
Sure.
So it was also infectious. I was seeing those shows and even when I was very little, I had a number of my little birthday parties would be at the Heights Players out in Brooklyn, and you could have your little birthday party. You could see a play, like a kids show.
From her Oscar-winning breakthrough in My Cousin Vinny, to her powerhouse performance in The Wrestler, and her recent Marvel Universe appearances, she's constructed a career like a master architect designs a cathedral, with patience, precision, and an unwavering vision. The entertainment industry operates like a conveyor belt, constantly pushing actresses toward predictable life milestones: marriage at 30, babies by 35, graceful retirement to focus on family. Tomei stepped off that conveyor belt entirely. Her Brooklyn upbringing, where theater was a family tradition, planted seeds of artistic devotion that grew into towering priorities. This early fusion of joy and artistry became her North Star, guiding decisions that others might find puzzling. Unlike many actresses who view their careers as temporary stops before domestic life, Tomei approached acting like a calling that demanded total dedication. She's worked consistently since the 1980s, selecting roles that stretch her abilities rather than simply maintaining visibility. This commitment required sacrifices that she made without resentment, viewing them not as losses, but as conscious choices aligned with her deepest values. Society often treats motherhood like gravity, an inevitable force that pulls all women toward the same destination. Marisa Tomei has lived in defiance of this supposed law of nature, demonstrating that fulfillment can take countless forms. Her stance on children mirrors her marriage philosophy: clear, consistent, and completely at odds with societal expectations. Rather than offering apologetic explanations or leaving doors open for future changes of heart, Tomei has been remarkably direct about her lack of maternal desires. This honesty cuts through the typical celebrity dance of maybe someday responses that keep tabloids hopeful and fans speculating.
I want to ask you about something you did fairly recently that intrigues me, because I used to do it a lot when I was younger. I would take road trips with my friends, and I just love driving around America.
Isn't it the best?
But I haven't done it in such a long time, and I'm told you just did this.
I did it earlier in the year, cross country in January. Yes.
You went cross country in January?
Well-
Why? Why?
You know, that was when I could do it, and I knew I was going to work for about 5 months in a row, and sometimes I get a little stir crazy.
Yep.
So I wanted to go somewhere beforehand, and I had to get from LA to New York.
Her choice challenges a fundamental assumption that permeates not just Hollywood, but society at large, that women possess an inherent drive toward motherhood that will eventually surface. Tomei's example suggests that this assumption reflects social conditioning rather than biological inevitability. She's channeled what others might call maternal energy into her craft, her relationships, and causes that resonate with her values. The actress serves as living proof that a woman can nurture without birthing, can create without procreating, and can leave a lasting legacy without biological descendants. Her children exist in the form of memorable performances that will outlive any of us, from the fierce Mona Lisa Vito to the vulnerable Cassidy in The Wrestler. Hollywood romance typically follows a predictable script: meet, date, engage, marry, divorce, repeat. Marisa Tomei has rewritten this narrative entirely, approaching relationships like an explorer rather than a settler. Her romantic history reads like a series of meaningful connections rather than a desperate search for the one. Her relationship with Logan Marshall Green captured significant media attention during the 2000s, with industry watchers constantly analyzing their appearances for engagement ring sightings or wedding hints. Instead of playing into these expectations, Tomei maintained her boundaries while fully experiencing the relationship. The absence of traditional milestones didn't diminish the connection's value. It simply reflected her different measuring system for success. Her connection with Robert Downey Jr., sparked during their collaboration on Only You, generated similar speculation and similar results. Rather than viewing these relationships as failures because they didn't end in marriage, Tomei has consistently framed them as complete experiences valuable in their own right. This approach requires tremendous emotional maturity and self-awareness. It means resisting the societal pressure to escalate relationships according to predetermined timelines, instead allowing each connection to find its natural level. Like a jazz musician improvising within a familiar structure, Tomei has created beautiful relationship music without following traditional sheet music. Every generation produces cultural revolutionaries who challenge established norms. Some carry protest signs. Others simply live their convictions so authentically that they inspire others to question assumptions. Marisa Tomei belongs firmly in the latter category, a quiet revolutionary whose personal choices have sparked broader conversations about women's autonomy. Her resistance extends beyond personal decisions into professional interactions. She's repeatedly highlighted the absurd double standard that sees female celebrities constantly questioned about their biological clocks while their male counterparts discuss upcoming projects. This isn't accidental awareness. It's strategic pushback against an industry that treats women's personal lives as public property. Without declaring herself a feminist icon or launching campaigns, Tomei has become a symbol for women who refuse to apologize for unconventional choices. Her example demonstrates that independence isn't about rejecting all commitments. It's about choosing commitments that align with your authentic self rather than societal expectations. She represents a growing demographic of women who view traditional life paths as options rather than obligations. Her visibility in this role matters enormously, particularly for younger women who might otherwise assume that diverging from conventional expectations requires justification or comes with inevitable regret. Living authentically in the public eye requires thick skin and unwavering conviction. Marisa Tomei has endured decades of speculation, criticism, and well-meaning concern from people who simply cannot accept that a woman might genuinely prefer her chosen path. The persistence of, when will she settle down? Questions reveals more about societal discomfort than about Tomei's supposed incompleteness. Media coverage of her life often carries an undertone of temporary status, as if her current situation were simply a lengthy intermission before the real show begins. Headlines frame her as never married rather than purposefully single, immediately positioning her choice as a deficit rather than a decision. This linguistic framing matters because it shapes public perception. By consistently describing her status in negative terms, never married, no children, media outlets perpetuate the narrative that she's missing something essential rather than possessing something valuable. Absolute freedom to define her own success. Tomei has navigated these perceptions with remarkable grace, neither defensive nor apologetic about her choices. She allows her work to speak for itself while maintaining clear boundaries around her personal life. This balance requires constant vigilance against attempts to fit her into predetermined categories that simply don't apply. What does fulfillment look like when you color outside conventional lines? For Marisa Tomei, it resembles a rich tapestry woven from artistic achievement, meaningful relationships, travel experiences, and the simple pleasure of complete autonomy over her daily existence. Her connection to family runs deep despite, or perhaps because of, her choice to remain childless. As a devoted daughter, sister, and aunt, she experiences familial love without the specific responsibilities of marriage or motherhood. These relationships provide emotional anchoring while preserving her freedom to prioritize career opportunities and personal growth. Travel features prominently in her fulfillment equation, not as escape from responsibilities, but as expansion of perspective. Without school schedules or spousal careers to coordinate around, she can pursue opportunities wherever they lead. This flexibility has undoubtedly contributed to her career longevity and diverse role selections. The actress has also found deep satisfaction in artistic collaboration and creative exploration. Whether working with established directors or emerging filmmakers, she brings full presence to each project because she's never divided between professional and domestic obligations. This singular focus has produced some of her most memorable performances. As we examine Marisa Tomei's life from the vantage point of her sustained success and apparent contentment, certain truths emerge with crystal clarity. Her choices weren't made in reaction to disappointment or from fear of commitment. They sprang from deep self-knowledge and unwavering commitment to authenticity. Perhaps most importantly, her example demonstrates that there's no single formula for a well-lived life. The traditional path of marriage and motherhood works beautifully for millions of women, but it's not the only path to fulfillment, purpose, or contribution. Tomei has shown that a woman can be nurturing without being a mother, committed without being a wife, and complete without conforming to others' expectations. Her legacy extends far beyond her filmography, though that remains impressive by any measure. She's helped normalize alternative life choices for women, challenging the assumption that deviation from traditional paths requires explanation or apology. In doing so, she's given countless other women permission to trust their own instincts about what constitutes a meaningful life. The question of marriage may continue following Marisa Tomei, but perhaps that says more about our collective difficulty accepting that some people genuinely prefer alternative arrangements. Her consistency over decades suggests this isn't a phase or a defense mechanism. It's simply how she's chosen to live. In a world that often pressures women to shrink themselves to fit predetermined molds, Marisa Tomei has remained expansively, unapologetically herself. That choice, repeated daily for decades, may be her greatest performance of all. If you enjoyed the video, please help our channel grow and like and subscribe. We hope to see you again soon.